Hi everyone, we're going to report about ecological literacy. So what is ecological literacy? Ecological literacy, also referred to as eco-literacy. It is the ability to understand the natural systems that make life on Earth, natural systems, possible. To be eco-literate means understanding the principles of organization of ecological communities like the ecosystems and using those principles for creating sustainable human communities. An ecologically literate society would be a sustainable society which did not destroy the natural environment on which they depend. Ecological literacy is a powerful concept as it creates a foundation for an integrated approach to environmental problems.
The importance of ecological literacy. The survival of humanity depends upon our ecological literacy, our ability to understand the basic principles of a connected nature and how to live accordingly. This means that ecological literacy must become a critical skill for all humans to embrace if we are to remain on Earth. Why is ecological literacy important for kids? The development of ecological literacy plays a critical role in shaping an individual's attitude towards sustainability and an understanding of how promoting a sustainable environment relates to fairness in the economic, ecological, and social spheres of society. What is the benefits of ecological literacy? By weaving these forms of intelligence together, eco-literacy builds on the success from reduced behavioral problems to increased academic achievement of the movement in education to foster social and emotional learning, and it cultivates the knowledge, empathy, and action required for practicing sustainable living. What is the nature of ecological literacy? Ecological literacy, according to Garrett Hardin, is the ability to ask, "What then?" In a sense, ecological literacy is about understanding how our activities, including reading and writing, not only impact the earth but fit into the complex web of ecological relationships within which we live.
So since we are talking about ecological literacy, it means being able to understand the natural systems that make life on Earth possible. So when or how can we say that a person is ecological literate? To be an ecological literate person, or shall we say an environmentally literate person, it's either individual or together with others. It means understanding the principles of organizations of ecological communities and using these principles for creating a sustainable human communities. So this means that ecological literate persons, they have care to our environment. They have concern to the condition of our environment, especially these days. And it also means that they are willing to impart their knowledge and give cooperation to the activities that aims to preserve our environment. Especially these days, the condition of our planet is a serious threat to all human beings. It is getting worse every year, and that is why it badly needed the response of all human beings to take action and preserve our planet for it to be able to continue to sustain life on Earth. But sadly, out of more than 8 billion people living on this planet, only few have care and the rest are neglecting this serious problem.
And now let us proceed to the ways to develop ecological literacy. First, develop empathy for all forms of life. At the basic level, all organisms, including humans, need food, water, space, and conditions that support dynamic equilibrium to survive. By recognizing the common needs we share with all organisms, we can begin to shift our perspective from a view of humans as separate and superior to a more authentic view of humans as members of the natural world. From that perspective, we can expand our circles of empathy to consider the quality of life of other life forms, feel genuine concern about their well-being, and act on that concern. So this means, through this, we will understand that all living things are dependent with each other. Second, embrace sustainability as community practice. Organisms do not survive in isolation. Instead, the web of relationships within any living community determines its collective ability to survive and thrive. So this means that many is better than one. With unity, we can make a bigger action. The third one is make the invisible visible. Historically, and for some cultures still in existence today, the path between a decision and its consequences was short and visible. If a homesteading family cleared their land of trees, for example, they might soon experience flooding, soil erosion, a lack of shade, and a huge decrease in biodiversity. So if we strive to develop ways of living that are more life-affirming, we must find ways to make visible things that seem invisible. The fourth one is anticipate unintended consequences. Many of the environmental crises that we face today are unintended consequences of human behavior. For example, we have experienced many unintended but grave consequences of developing the technological ability to access, produce, and use fossil fuels. These new technological capacities have been largely viewed as progress for our society. Only recently has the public become aware of the downsides of our dependency on fossil fuels such as pollution, suburban sprawl, international conflicts, and climate change. The last one is understand how nature sustains life. Eco-literate people recognize that nature has sustained life for eons. As a result, they have turned to nature as their teacher and learned several crucial tenets. 3 of those tenets are particularly imperative to eco-literate living. First of all, eco-literate people have learned from nature that all living organisms are members of a complex, interconnected web of life, that those members inhabiting a particular place depend upon their interconnectedness for survival. Second, eco-literate people tend to be more aware that systems exist on various levels of scale. In nature, organisms are members of systems nested within other systems, from the micro level to the macro level. And finally, eco-literate people collectively practice a way of life that fulfills the needs of the present generation, while simultaneously supporting nature's inherent ability to sustain into the future. Through this, we will be able to understand that we can't live without the environment, and that is why we should treat it good, because like what they said, we need the earth to live, but the earth don't need us to exist.
Elements of ecological literacy. The components of essential eco-literacy emerged in 4 domains, namely the concepts, the sense of place, respect for other, and the competencies. Concepts. It is the first domain of the ecological literacy. Concept is also known as knowledge domain. It is a general sense of human history, particularly as it relates to the success or failure of society to adapt to their own environmental challenges. Concepts consist of essential ecological principles, basic thermodynamics, human history, essential biology, and essential earth science. Sense of place. Sense of place is a domain that attempts to capture some of the elements that influence how we live and think about our environments, both global and local. This domain includes basic awareness of environmental connections, awareness of local and global community issues, environmental sensitivity, and self-efficacy. The third one is respect for other. This domain incorporates the importance of biological and cultural diversity. This domain speaks the heart of social, and environmental justice and requires the two important cognitive skills, namely the moral development, respect and empathize with others, and the practical ethics skills to find compromises as we share resources and space. This domain reminds that eco-literacy requires some form of respect for the well-being and to consider the quality of life beyond the future. The last one is competencies. Competencies consist of two cognitive skills rather than knowledge. It includes a variety of pragmatic abilities and manners of thinking, including scientific reasoning, practical ethics, and socio-political skills. This domain requires a practice of mental development to make reasonable decisions regarding environmental issues. It also includes self-regulated learning, which encompasses metacognition, motivation, and strategic action. Steps on how to preserve ecological literacy. First is reduce, reuse, and recycle. Second, volunteer cleanups in your community. Third, educate. Fourth, conserve water. Fifth, choose sustainable. Sixth, shop wisely. 7. Use long-lasting light bulbs to reduce greenhouse emissions. 8. Plant a tree. 9. Don't send chemicals into waterways. And 10. Bike more.